What's up, guys? It's your boy T,
And it's your boy D.
And this your boy Jay.
and this is Uncoded, your number one source for pop culture news. Let's get it. So today I'm gonna let D take it. Go ahead, D.
Okay, so basically, this is part two of the whole Dr. Dre and his wife situation.
Part two.
Exactly. So they're still going through their whole divorce settlement and going to court and doing this, that, and the third. And Dr. Dre's soon-to-be ex-wife is asking for temporary spousal support of $2 million a month in temporary support. So basically she's saying, like, while we are battling this out, pay me $2 million a month. And then we will wait until the actual divorce settlement to actually like see how much I'm actually getting.
Oh,
What do you guys think
hell
about that?
no!
Hey, Dr. Dre, lucky he got it made, and he could probably afford to pay off some shit like that and not have too much of a hassle with doing it. But still, at the end of the day, that's a lot of fucking money. And damn, it sounds like Dr. Dre going through hell right
She needs to bite into a McHell no, because that is crazy. Who like asking for 2 million? No. What do you need 2 million for? For what?
She says it's I mean, she claims that it's for her lifestyle to keep that up. And
You
also
don't need that lifestyle then.
I know she's saying some shit about for the spousal abuse, because apparently Dr. Dre was kind of abusive towards her, which I don't disagree with. Like, Dr. Dre was beating women, so he was beating the fuck out of women
That
back
is
then.
true.
Even Eminem quoted it inside a song. Like, he was knocking them out, bro.
What was the quote?
He was like he mentioned something about Dre beating D Barnes, which was like some kind of like she was an interviewer for like hip hop rappers like back in the day, and I think she interviewed Eazy-E while they were like beefing, and Dr. Dre wasn't rocking like that, and then met her up at a club and just beat the brakes off of her, son.
Yeah,
That shit not cool. That's just not cool
I
at all.
heard about that. I definitely heard about that.
Dr.
But
Dre beats women.
For her to be asking for money for like domestic violence, okay, yeah, that's understandable. Like, name your price.
no, you should just leave. What happened
She
to
does deserve to get money if he beat her that badly.
First of all, she doesn't.
If he beat her at all,
no one needs to get beat. Period. That's it. And if he beat her, he just needs to go to jail.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He just needs to go to that. I mean, that
exactly.
I don't think there's like a reward. So I don't know. I just think. I mean, okay, civil. That area is kind of gray. I'm not gonna tap all the way into that. But I do feel like just asking for just setting aside the abuse rumors, if it's true or not true. I'm not putting that into account, but I just think it's crazy for her to ask 2 million. So this brings up kind of another topic. You guys think marriage today is still worth it?
Oh, it's never really worth it. It's not worth it at all, bro. Honestly, because it damages the like men more than it does. Actually, it doesn't even hurt women in general, bro. Because the like court always favors them throughout most of these cases. So this is a come up for them. It's like, yeah, I had to fuck you, suck your dick for a little bit, but now I'm free, and you have to pay me, motherfucker. Like it's like, nah, bro.
What do you think about this, Jay? Because I know Jay has a difference of an opinion.
I have a completely different opinion towards that. I definitely think, and I also think marriage is something that's going to come from everyone's going to have a different perspective, a different take on it. My parents have been happily married for 30 years. So it's like my perspective on it is completely different. I feel like it is a life changer. It's a contract. It's a bond. You take a vow to God. I feel like everything is a lot more official with marriage, and there's a lot of benefits to it. If you do find the one, and you feel like you truly in love with her, and that's someone you could spend the rest of your life with, I think it's definitely worth it. But I can see how people could have different perspectives on that if their parents had separated or anything that happened to their parents growing up. I can definitely see how anyone would have a different perspective towards it. So at the end of the day, you really can't judge anyone's opinion on marriage because everybody grows up differently, has different things that happen to their parents, or they either end up together happily married, or shit can go south. That's the whole thing with marriage. It can either go very good or it can go very bad. But it's very likely to go very good if you do find the one and you truly find love with her. You truly are in love with her.
Yeah, but we're throwing money into the equation, and then once the money's in the equation, shit kind of goes left. Because there are people who
who specifically try to target rich people to marry them and then divorce and take half of their money as a come up. So you and your parents probably started from the bottom together, and now y'all both here. And both of your like parents were like working hard together to build what they had. But in certain cases, it's like one person is building or they already have it built and you're just like moving in. And then once you want to move out, it's like you are trying to take like half of everything that was built when you didn't really work for it. You weren't there shooting in the gym, like per se, and things like that. And that's where it kind of muddies the like, water, where marriage just isn't worth it anymore.
All right, yeah, I have kind of have like two opinions on about this. So to first tackle like the first statement about because you've never seen an example. I'm not a firm believer in that because okay, yeah, I grew up in a single household with my mom, but I also grew up with my grandparents who've been married for 50 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen it through both perspectives, and I don't feel like just because someone hasn't seen in their home that doesn't make it unconquerable to somebody else. I don't. That's why I've never really been a fan of that argument. And I think honestly, like back then, this and me and Jay kind of had this discussion earlier on in the week. Back then, when people got with someone, or women married a lot younger back in the day, right?
Hell
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
They
People got
married,
married
yeah.
right after high school.
So they married when they probably were just established themselves, didn't have too much. So that way, okay, they get divorced maybe when they're in their 40s. They're at that point in time, they're kind of like building their life. See, this point in time now, the way it's different, women get married like in their 30s now, right?
Yeah.
Some maybe late 20s, but a lot of it's 30s now, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, a male at his 30s, because most times women marry older, right? So if that woman is like maybe 27 or 28, the guy's like already 30 something. So it's like you're already marrying him when he's already been way established. Y'all didn't really build. So it's, to me, it's, as a man, it's an unfair deal because now it's like the women get most of everything and you didn't help him build it. So it's like a slap. And then if you think about it, it's like the divorce is completely made in their favor. And I think like just from a perspective that like marriage today is not, first of all, it's not even like the whole point of marriage was to be underneath God. And they've completely taken God out of the situation, not to get religious about it. But now it's like literally just a contract now. So it's basically it's a contract and it's made to fuck you. Like it's if you're a man and you get married and something bad happens, you're totally out. Even prenups are fighting prenups now. So it's literally to me it's a lose-lose situation. Like to me, if you're like, what can you do married that you can't do unmarried in a relationship as a man? And what not only that, but what do you get out of it as a man that you couldn't get with just being with her? What do you get out of it besides the last name? Who cares about the last name? This is not 1960 anymore. I don't know. That's just how I see it.
There really is nothing. Like you really get nothing out of it. I mean, honestly, if I was with a girl right now and then we were together for like a long ass time, I'd give her a ceremony, but we won't be married. Like
Yeah.
if because some women do still appreciate having the whole ceremony, having the family together and doing all the saying the vows and shit like that. So that probably won't go away for like a very long ass time. So, but it's like you can't have one without the other unless you choose to just have a ceremony without the actual, making it official. We are married.
Yeah, that's what I believe in too. I even told my mom this. I was like, look, if they want to do it under God, which the Bible says nothing about transaction and signing contracts and doing all that stuff. If you want to do it in a church or whatever, you want to get married that way, and I don't have to sign any paperwork, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But as soon as I have to sign my name on a dotted line and I have to give up half my money's worth just because you just happen to be there, like, okay, when you have kids, you both agree to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's something that's on both of you guys. So it's not like, let's say you're working, they're like, okay, but she held down the kids. She also wanted to have the kids too. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I was just like, all right, well, I want the kid, and then she was just like, okay. You both make a decision to have a kid. So it's like, I'm not going to give you extra credit for doing what you're supposed to do. Like, you're not going to give me extra credit as a dad because I actually was a dad and I took care of my kid. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't feel like it's a fair equivalent. I feel like I'm not against anybody who gets married, because matter of fact, I'm like a best man in my friend's wedding right now. So I'm not against it, but I just feel like I honestly just feel like in today's age with today's laws, the way laws are now, it's not meant for be in a man's favor. Like I said, this was back in the day, whatever, when the laws were cool and it was chill. Cool, yeah, get married, do your
Sure.
thing. But now when it's like this and like you're losing crazy amounts of money,
Yeah, I think because now
I can't
marriage
condone that.
has been weaponized. Honestly, like it's a weapon to like attack men and also to like benefit from their suffering. Because um, I'm not sure that most people notice that most vets have to put down like dogs because the wife wants to like gets the dog out of the whole divorce, and they choose to just put down the dog just to like spite the dude. Like
I didn't know that.
yeah, apparently that shit happens a lot. Like perfectly fine, healthy, like dogs, cats, all that getting put down, all because of that. So it's like
That's
it's really
bad.
not. So yeah, so it's really not in the dude's favor at all. Like it's marriage is a weapon. Now it's not some contract, for like love. It's just a weapon.
Yeah, I completely disagree with both of y'all on this.
Now go
That's
ahead. I
fine.
want to hear
That's
it.
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Couple different things I wanted to say real quick. I do think marriages are gonna start to fade away slowly and slowly as we get older, like just because of like social media and this generation we live in now. Because like cheating has become so common and normalized, I feel like that's gonna ruin a lot of marriages and make a lot of people tempted to cheat. So I do think marriages are like on the decline, and like people are becoming like less and less loyal. So that's one thing I have to say about that. And another thing is when it comes to like divorces, that it can go south for either person. Like if it's a girl that fucks up and she cheats, then it's gonna fall badly on her at the end of the day, and the guy is gonna benefit from that situation because it was the girl's fault why the marriage failed, why they got a divorce. So everything's gonna work out in the guy's favor in that hand, and also vice versa. If the guy cheats, the girl would benefit from that. Once everything settles out in court, if it has to go to court, it would go to court and it would go in the guy's favor. If the girl cheated, if the guy cheated, it would go in the girl's favor. So I think it'll work out depending on whoever fucks up and ruins the relationship. And if it's like very clear and obvious whose fault it was, why it went south, I think it's gonna work out for the other spouse whose fault it wasn't. I was gonna mention something else, but y'all can go ahead on that.
Now go ahead, D, because I know D's been itching to say something. Because I've been itching to say something.
Like I'm saying, it's like first of all, it's like if there's no prenups, and that wife will still get half, even if she's the cause of the end of the relationship, she can still get the house, the kids, the car, all of that. Like that will probably still be inside her favor. So there really isn't no like, oh, who cheated first, this, that, and the third. Like trust me, like the wife, female, whatever, she will get the like better deal throughout most of the things, because you have to prove that she is a crazy psychopath who's probably doing drugs, like tattoos all over her body, like sleeping around like endlessly to actually get something from like to get the better deal. Like no matter what happens, the wife will most likely get the better deal.
Bro, look at the statistics on that. It's crazy, bro. It's talk to anybody who's been in a divorce. 9 times out of 10, in my current job, I've talked to some people who've been divorced. The dude always gets fucked.
Gets fucked.
I've never talked to someone over the phone who has been divorced, who is a female that was like, oh man, I've been, they really got me. They're like, they might be like their emotions are hurt, but no, financially they're living it up.
Like, how many people have you actually talked to that have actually gotten a divorce?
A good amount of people. A lot.
Just trust me.
A lot.
Remember, it's like y'all are married. Well, you guys were married, so, and the law states half, and it doesn't really state why you guys broke up. It's the fact that you guys broke up, so she gets half.
Exactly.
And you've heard stories about people getting married, the like wife cheating, leaving for the other guy, getting the house, the car, and having that new guy move in. Like that shit happens a lot. And then he has to pay for that.
Yeah, and like to your point too about marriages and stuff like that are fading. And like I honestly, like, my opinion of that, like relationships and marriages and stuff like that are fading, is like, you think about it, like if you think about now in like let's say the 1950s and 1960s, what has really changed? And you think about it, like men for the most part have always pretty much been the same. It's females that have kind of changed throughout time. Not completely blaming it on them, but it's like females now are a lot more. They care a lot more like masculine energy, and it's like I mean it comes with a little bit with being independent, but I feel like a lot of females now aren't really like feminine. Like they're not and like if you get someone from like different cultures, like if you were to get like maybe a female from maybe like overseas, something like that, they'd be more feminine, they'd be more like homey. But like I think in terms of the US, I feel like relationships are fading out because it's like two people with masculine energy can't get anywhere, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Positives.
Yeah, you can't have two people trying to take charge of something. Someone has to fall back and be the you know, the feminine person. And you got some dudes who are feminine and who like you who are more feminine and the woman takes charge, which is, you know, I'm not gonna knock you, do what works for you. But I just think in terms of sense, in terms of general consensus about male and female relationships, I think that's what the problem is that like, you know, unfortunately, not all, but you know, a lot of females carry very masculine traits. And
I don't even think it's all that. I think women
I
are
think it
just
is.
more. I think women are just more independent now, and they have a lot more respect nowadays than they did back in the day.
Bro, they don't have a
But
lot more respect than back in the days. Bro,
yeah,
look at Instagram. You compare the 1960s, some of that, the more respect, bro. Like that's not more respect.
Well, that's self-respect, but not like. But there
That's
is
not.
more respect in the sense that we can be like, oh, she's a
yeah.
strong woman that takes care of
Women
herself.
are equal to men nowadays. That's where I'm going with that. I'm not talking about like the girls that you're like. I don't know. I don't want to get too specific with that, but I'd say in terms of like men and women being equal and on the same platform, it's a lot. That's
Having the same
a lot.
chances in life type of
Exactly,
Yeah,
the
situation.
same opportunities. That's way more prevalent now than it was back then.
yeah, but
But
I'm
in 2020, like I feel like girls can like wear whatever now, and it's perfectly acceptable. So I feel like in terms of you're wearing, that's like completely different than women just having like all equal opportunities and being equal to men on that level.
I mean, to me, there's a difference between like when I'm talking about masculine and feminine energy, I'm not necessarily talking about them being equal in that stance because like okay, men and women generally textbook wise should be treated equal, but they're not equal because there's no way a man and a female could completely be equal. And by this, I'm not talking about like laws and all that other stuff like that. I'm just talking about like genetically we're different than they think different. The way you talk to a man is not the same way you would talk to a woman. I mean, that's just facts. It's not the same. You talk to your dad and mom the same way? No, you don't. You know, it's completely different. So when I'm talking about masculine and feminine, I'm talking about necessarily like traits. So like you know what I'm saying? You can tell someone who's more masculine opposed to someone who is more feminine. You know, someone more masculine is more like dominant, and someone who's more feminine is more laid back. You know what I'm saying? It's and that's what I'm talking about traits. I'm not necessarily talking about them like being equal to a part of like, yeah, I have a job and you have a job. I'm just talking about just in general, just the way you react. I'm sure like we've all been dating and stuff like that. You ever come across a female who's very like just masculine?
I wouldn't even say a word masculine. I would say just
I would
women
say
are just more
masculine.
I would just
I would
say
say
women are just
masculine.
more independent nowadays.
I was saying you
They
can
want to do shit on their own.
you can
Or
be
dominant.
you can be no you can be independent and not be masculine. You can have your own money, but then be more like okay, like you know, more feminine. That's different than being masculine. There's a lot of masculine women out there. It's not all of them, but there's a lot. If you, I'm
That's
I'm
true.
I'm trying to tell you, man. If you guys are on the dating market, go back on the dating market and see how many masculine kind of women that you see or you come across, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Hmm. I see.
Yeah,
I see what you're
yeah,
saying.
it's like for example, and this is just for like I can always edit this part out, but D, I would say that your ex is kind of masculine.
Yeah.
Would you that's what I'm would you agree? That's what I'm talking about masculine. And Jay, you've met D's ex. How does she
Yeah,
act? Does she act feminine or does she act masculine? You wouldn't
yeah,
say feminine.
At times, but it's for yeah, you
That's
know.
what that's what I'm talking about. That do you guys see what I'm
Uh,
saying when I use that example now?
yeah, I see what you're saying. I see
That's
what
what I'm saying. Like how she acts masculine. That's a masculine.
you're saying.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's what I mean. Because I know it's kind
I
of
get where I feel like there's a different word for it, but I get where you're going with it.
yeah. That's
I feel like there's a better substitute of a word for it, but I feel like I get where you're going with it.
bro. That was probably one of the most masculine females I've ever met.
Shit.
Bro,
Yeah. All right. So yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah, how long was we doing this talk for?
I don't know. We were doing it for a minute.
Yeah, that's.
But all right, guys. Do any of you guys have any closing thoughts?
$2 million a month is way too much for temporary spousal support. Like, no, just no.
Hey, I'm a believer in marriages. I still believe in it, and I don't think it's that. I do think that there's a great chance they could always work out if you do find the one. But divorces, of course, can get ugly, and the guy can be on the downside with that, very likely. But I do think marriages can work out if you find the one and you're both loyal and find true love. I am a believer in marriages, but I do think they are also fading because of social media and people cheating being normalized.
No. I think my closing thought is that I think marriage is fine as long as you don't have to sign any paperwork. And I'm gonna stick to it. There's nothing wrong with being with someone. That's the one person you want to be with. As long as you don't have to sign a paperwork. Ain't no fucking verse in the Bible that says thou shalt sign paperwork. So I'm gonna still rock with that. If you want to get married, that's fine. But as a man, just know you're gonna get fucked. I mean, there's no other way around it. Unless like she's Adele and you're her boyfriend, and maybe you might walk away or something. Maybe, I don't know. How's Kevin Federline doing? Apparently not well. So
my next girl got to be rich, bro.
Even that, I just wouldn't want someone having control over me. Be like, yo, shut up. That's why I make $1 million more than you.
I mean, they have control if you let it, bro. It's like I just want a rich girl just to have a rich girl, but she's not gonna use that money on me, bro. Like she's not gonna use that money as a tool to control me. Fuck that.
I don't know. That's kind of funny.
That's another topic for another day.
Right. Sugar mamas.
The tables have turned. This is our chat. This is our time.
That's funny. All right, guys. So this has been your boy T.
It's been your boy D.
It's been your boy Jay.
And we are out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right.
Yeah.